everyone, it's your friendly neighborhood sex therapist here, coming to you to talk about the investment in therapy. So I get these calls a lot for people asking for therapy and my services, and then when we get to the how much does it cost question, people get a little squirrely. Because for my services, I do $100 per session on a low slot fee, which means I can slide my fee a little bit. But then the next question is, how many times do I have to go? Which really is like that's a very subjective question. I can't answer that based on a 10-minute conversation. And really it depends on everything that you put into it. Because really your therapist is a sounding board. They're there to help guide you, but you're doing all the work. So it's really hard to answer that question. Hopefully, no more than a few sessions. Most people, or most therapists, work in brief therapy, which is anything under 20 sessions. And that doesn't mean you go every week. And, every other week, sometimes once a month. It really depends on you and your therapist and what you talk about with your therapist. So let's get to why the investment in yourself and the number that people put on their services. So for a therapist, I'm going to kind of break it down for you why it costs what it costs. And I'm going to go off, my experience. So you have to have a bachelor's degree in the beginning. And so depending upon what school they go to, a bachelor's degree can, cost anywhere from $60,000 to over $100,000 for a 4-year degree. And then after your 4-year degree, many therapists move on to a master's degree, which is typically a 2 to 3 year program. Now my program was about 2 years, and I went to Liberty University, and it's roughly $60,000. And then from there, there's more things that the therapist has to do to become a therapist. If they want to be licensed, they have to pay for supervision. Like I have to go to supervision, once, twice a week. And depending upon the supervisor, some supervisors charge the therapist $125 an hour or $50 or $60. It really depends on the supervisor. So that cost is subjective as well. And then if they're in private practice or group practice, they're going to have overhead. You have to pay rent, paper, ink, all the pretty things they put on the wall, the furniture, all of that is a cost and overhead. So all that costs money because they're running a business too. And so that does add up over time. And then if you have specialties like I'm a sex therapist, that's a specialty. That alone, is about $6,000 to $8,000 on top of my education that I already have. Also, your therapist does have to upkeep their license every year, or every 2 years actually. They have to renew their license, and they have to learn new things throughout those years. One, I have to take an ethical course, obviously, because we have to have ethics. And 2, so we know what we're doing. We know what the changes are in the theories that we practice, or how to better serve a population, let's say sex and disabilities, that I just went to a CEU on, which is great, or trauma, that's a new thing out now on how to treat trauma. So we have to keep those up every year, and depending upon the CEU, some are free, some cost upwards of $200 to $400 or $800. I'm going to a Santray class in August, and that's costing me close to $700, $800. So it really depends on, what the therapist is going for, but they have to continue their education even after school. And then with the sliding fees, I recently got a call, because I do EMDR therapy, and again, I charge $100. And I had someone say, well, someone said that they would do it for $35. Like, well, okay, if that's a better option for you, then go with the 35, but I'm not sliding down to 35. And she's like, oh, well, I'll go with that, which is fine. More power to her. But this is what you're getting. So you're getting quality. The more, technically, the more you pay, hopefully the more quality this person has, the more education, the more experience, the more background they have in this particular area. So I'm going to use a food analogy. So you can go to a 5-star restaurant, let's say Houston's, that's in Atlanta. You can get a great steak for like 35 bucks. You can also go to Waffle House and get a steak for like 10 bucks. They're both steak. They're both beef. They both will feed you. However, one is a better quality than the other. The individual who's working at Houston's is a chef. Spent a lot of time learning his or her trade on how to make that steak the way that you want it and how to prepare it in a way that's appealing to the palate. Waffle House, while a person may have experience, generally the line cook may not have as much experience as the person who works at Houston's. It's also the quality of meat as well. So what I'm getting at is you're paying for quality. So yes, you're more than welcome to go to therapy for the person who's paying $35 or who's charging $35 for therapy. Or you can go to the individual who's had more experience in the area, who may know a little bit more. It really depends. So it's, quality versus, I guess, what you're willing to pay. So what are you willing to spend on your mental health? How much is your mental health worth to you? Is it worth $100 a session, or is it worth $35 a session? Again, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. So are you going to go to a medical doctor in the back alley who may charge you nothing to do things, whatever you need, or are you going to go to a surgeon in a hospital that's gone to school, still working, has good experience? So that's what you're getting with the quality. This is one of the best investments you can do for yourself, because the person who is sitting there is non-judgmental, or they're supposed to be non-judgmental, and they're there for you, to listen to you and to be your sounding board and to help you work things out, where sometimes friends will give you advice. Sometimes it's not good advice. And sometimes it is, it depends. But the therapist is there for you and to work with your goals and your time. It's an investment in yourself to do therapy. Or an investment in your relationship if you're doing couples counseling, or an investment in your family if you're doing family counseling, to make these relationships work and the relationship with yourself work. Because sometimes we tend to see therapy as a luxury, and it's not a luxury. It's a necessity. Just like, that's why it's on insurances now. That's just like going to see the doctor for a yearly checkup, or the dentist twice a year for a cleaning. It's maintenance. It's for you, and for you to live the best life that you can live. So that's the reason why the investment is high, and we don't want to keep you in therapy forever. That would actually be unethical, because the point of therapy is for us to help you understand yourself better, and for you to grow as an individual, and for you to depend on yourself and not others or the therapist. So yes, we're sad to see you go when you leave therapy, and I really don't want to keep you in therapy longer than you need, because again, that's unethical. And the amount of time really depends on you and the amount of work that you put into it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, comment in the box about this or future videos. So I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hey everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also in the comments below, tell me how you feel about this video and if there's anything you would like to see in future videos. Check out my social media pages on Facebook and Twitter, and then my professional website, therapistnicki.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.